I've spent the past 6 years helping expats all over Asia lose an average of 10 kg in 3 months without telling them to cut out any food groups or running and doing cardio every day. And today I'm going to share with you my 6 best tips that you can copy and paste so you can start seeing results as well without waiting for New Year's. And by the way, all of the tips that I'm about to share today apply to you despite any sort of areas of life you are in. All right, I work with people in their 40s to 50s to 60s, and I know that some of those people, they might have a family, they might be parents, they might be married, they might have very active social lives, they might have very active and intensive and stressful work schedule. And so I've become very good over the past few years in terms of creating results while navigating all of those ups and downs and all of those changes of what an expat lifestyle schedule look like. So this right here is made for you. I'm not gonna tell you about no sort of chicken broccoli bullshit. I'm not gonna tell you about any sort of voice trainer. Today is gonna be real tips for the everyday expat that wants to become healthy. Without further ado, starting with tip number one, it is to simply start eating more protein. Okay, this right here is not sexy at all. And by the way, none of the tips that I'm going to share today are sexy tips, because whenever it comes to sexy tips, it means advanced tips, and advanced tips usually mean tips that require a lot of time. But you watching this or listening to this, I'm assuming are someone who right now, maybe you only have the time to squeeze this podcast during your post-launch walk. Maybe it's only at night that you find the time to listen to this podcast. You're trying to squeeze things in terms of your everyday tasks on a day-to-day basis. So we cannot afford to do things that require too much time. All right. Now, going back to the fact of eating more protein as a way to start losing weight, right? It might seem counterintuitive if I'm telling you to eat more protein, while what everyone teaches is the fact that you need to eat less if you want to lose weight. But here's the thing, the whole concept of eating less, if it was really that easy to apply it, then everybody would have lost the weight. Nobody would have ever struggled with hunger. Nobody would have ever struggled with discipline, and nobody would have ever struggled with consistency on their diet. But the reality of things is that whenever you start a diet with the mindset of eating less, then it's a little bit like telling a kid that they cannot have a toy. It's a little bit like telling a kid that they cannot do something. It's like telling a kid that something is bad. What happens in the mind of that kid, the more you place a negative label on something, the more they want to do that thing, because they have this rebel kind of side that comes into them. And so that's why the whole concept of eating less for weight loss, to me, is a little bit outdated, because when you tell someone that they need to eat less for weight loss, they're already going to start to think, oh crap, I'm going to need discipline. But again, going back to the fact that we have a life and that sometimes our emotional fortitude, mental fortitude is not there, we'll not have that discipline all the time. All right. And so, in order for us to lose weight without necessarily having to flip that switch of discipline, eating less, it's best to focus on eating more, because what is going to happen once you have a high protein intake, which by the way, I know from experience after coaching for 6 years that most expats undereat their daily protein goal, while once they eat a decent amount of protein on a day-to-day basis, tons of good things happen. They naturally become more satiated, meaning that they become way less hungrier, meaning that the fact of eating less of anything else naturally happen as a side effect, and you don't necessarily need to force yourself to build that discipline anymore. Oh, I have a craving for carb, or I have a craving for fat, or I'm super hungry. All of those can disappear simply by eating enough protein, and also very importantly, by front loading your protein. So the whole concept of skipping breakfast, the whole concept of skipping lunch and keeping everything light during the day, yes, it's a popular concept for weight loss, but something that I realize is that that concept applies to people who don't have much to do in a day, people who don't need that cognitive energy during the day, for people who don't necessarily need to move here and there during the day. But if you're someone who is on the go from morning till lunchtime, till evening time, till even night time, then you cannot afford to go without a meal once the day starts, which, by the way, is directly a segue into the second tip. All right, so the first tip is have a lot of protein. We live in the AI world, so pretty much just go into ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT, hey, I'm a XXX centimeter person. Try to calculate my target and ideal healthy body weight, then multiply that ideal healthy body weight by 1.6, and that will be my goal of protein. Once you have that goal of protein that I'm supposed to eat on a daily basis, I want you to draw me a meal plan or to give me recommendations of food that I can eat so that I can hit that goal of protein every day. And also by paying attention to front loading the protein, meaning that I want to have most of my proteins in the first half of the day and not in the second half of the day. That's pretty much the easiest way for you to set up ChatGPT to get you to get your amount of protein. All right. Now, going back to the second hack, it's to not skip breakfast. It's always to have something for breakfast and something right after you wake up. What happens right after you wake up? Your body is in a state of stress. The process that helps you wake up in the morning is actually a stressful process in itself, created by a hormone that is called cortisol, right? Cortisol is really famous and it usually gets a little bit of a bad rap, but without cortisol, we would have probably died, right? Let's suppose that as I'm recording this podcast right here, a spider falls from the ceiling, then I hate spiders, naturally, okay? So as soon as I see that spider, there's gonna be a huge surge of cortisol, which is gonna make me, I guess, cry and scream like a bitch, and that's gonna make me avoid and jump away. If I did not have cortisol, I would not have had this fight or flight effect and this instinct of reacting fast and saving my life. So cortisol is a good thing. But the thing that happens in our crazy world is the fact that we let cortisol stay up all the time and we never do anything at all to tone it down. And the fact of skipping breakfast actually is one of those things that raise cortisol and keep cortisol even higher. This becomes even more dangerous in the age range of 40 to 50 whenever it comes to female, because we all know that women go through a lot of hormonal shifts within that period of time, and that a peak of cortisol is never going to be good for muscle preservation, appetite, gut health, bloating, and those kinds of things. Sometimes most of your health problems and most of your energy craving problems could be solved simply by the fact of having breakfast, right? Now, this brings us to hack number 3. It's related to the whole cortisol thing, right? We all know that whenever it comes to a diet, the main reason why someone usually fail to stick to the diet, the main reason why someone, after having a long week, very good on their meal and sticking to the plan and doing the workouts, will suddenly fall off the plan and eat something else, is not necessarily because they want it, but sometimes it's because they had a stressful day. Sometimes, you come back home after a very stressful meeting with the board of executive of your company. Sometimes you come back home, you received a review, a bad feedback from customers of the company that you work with. Sometimes you come back home, or sometimes you had a good day, but you come back home to a toxic relative, a significant other that is in the mood to give you a fight on that night, and you get stressed. And that stress, again, going back to what I said earlier, raises cortisol. And cortisol is that hormone too that naturally, since it is trying to avoid you from dying, since it is the survival hormone, is going to spike hormones of hunger. And this is the tricky part about the hunger that cortisol creates. It's never the type of hunger that will get you to eat something whole, something healthy, something nutrient dense. It's usually the kind of hunger that will get you to eat bullshit. So the third hack, guys, is gonna be stress management. Most of the time, the people who fail on their diet, mostly in that category and in that demographic and population of busy expats, busy executives, parents, it's usually the stress from a long day. So start to become super mindful about self-care. Start becoming super mindful about sleep, because sleep is where your body recharges. Sleep is where you pretty much go back to yourself. Start practicing more mindfulness. Start having a day of full reset on a weekly basis. Go to the sauna, go to the hot spring, anything just to tone your stress levels down. You'll be amazed at how easy it starts to feel to be disciplined once you have a good control over your emotions. Okay, so that's the 3 hacks we have. Hack number 1: eat more protein. This is gonna cut down your hunger. It's gonna make you naturally eat less carbs, less fast, less bullshit. Hack number 2 was the fact that you don't want to skip any meals at all. Most of the time, people fail to stick to a caloric deficit because there's a lot of overeating at night, but the overeating at night can be avoided if you simply have a meal early on and make yourself full and nicely fueled. Hack number 3 is going to be to manage stress. You need to be serious, okay, about self-care, about protecting your mental health, because your mental health has a lot of influence on how well you are going to apply and put in practice the first 2 hacks that I just gave, and also the next 3 hacks that I'm about to give. Hack number 4 is the fact of moving, okay? People are under the impression that whenever it comes to weight loss, it has to be hours of workouts at the gym. It has to be running for hours on the treadmill. It has to be sweating, burning, hurting. It has to be painful. But your body just needs movement, okay? Most people, you'll be surprised, sit on their front desk, sit on their couch for the entire day and don't do anything at all. But that kind of thing right there goes directly against how we have been built, quote unquote, our natural and also our ancestral origins, because we were made to move. Okay, so when your body does not move, your body gets in what I like to call sleep mode. It perceives that there is less need to burn calories, so it is going to keep calories in. Remember the whole period of the pandemic here in Asia and even in the entire world, people all gained weight. People gained weight during the period of time, not necessarily because they were eating. Sure, some people were eating a lot because they were using food as some form of comfort outlet, but some people, they didn't necessarily change the amount of food that they were eating every day. However, they started to move 50% to 80% lesser than the usual. That means that their body actually started to store 50% to 80% more calories than the usual, all right, simply because of the fact that they were not moving anymore. So the easiest way for you to burn calories, to burn fat, and also to avoid your body from getting into the sleep mode that I spoke about is to start fixing yourself a goal of daily steps, right? You can do all the workouts that you want. You can do whatever kind of yoga, HIIT class, 2 hours CrossFit bootcamp that you want. But if for the rest of the day you sit your ass on your couch and don't do anything, you are not going to burn a decent amount of calories that will get you to lose weight. Most of my clients, I pretty much just put them through those 4 previous tips that I shared with you just now, and that's it. It's over. It's done. We eat more protein. Our body has fuel. We avoid ourselves from getting those munchies at night by managing stress and also by having breakfast. In addition to that, we are now going to move more. That's pretty much the calories in, calories out equation, all right? So you just do that, guys, and you are going to lose a bunch of weight already without feeling like you're suffering or forcing through things. Which brings us to hack number 5, all right? It's gonna be supplement, all right? When I speak about supplement here, I'm not speaking about, people usually think that whenever it comes to weight loss, the supplement that they need to look at are, slimming juice, detox tea, BCAA, fat burn supplements, pre-workout. If you are a professional, if you have the goal of maximizing and utilizing the smallest percentage of optimization on your journey, on your physical transformation, sure, some of the supplements will help. But if you are a general person who aims to feel better, then you should do the general stuff. You should look at the supplements that are actually going to move the needles. You will not realize the amount of people that I see using and consuming some sort of weight loss supplements, but then who sleep like trash, who don't practice any form of physical activity, who don't have any form of physical or healthcare routine, and who pretty much just have a trashy lifestyle overall. Nothing's gonna happen if you do that, okay? But assuming that you are now working on the 4 first tips that I gave you, and that now you're gonna look into supplements, you need to look at the supplements that your body truly needs, okay? Some supplements that your body definitely will benefit from are vitamin D. What is vitamin D? Vitamin D is it's not just a supplement, it's usually a hormone. It's a hormone of well-being. Vitamin D is what you get when you walk outside and when you get some sunlight in. Have you ever wondered why you always feel happy when you go to the beach? It's because there's vitamin D and vitamin C. Haha, that was a good one. But what I'm trying to say is, when you're at the beach, the sun makes you feel good and feel happy because the sun actually creates vitamin D, which your skin utilizes to create those vitamin D. All right. So whenever I speak to a client who always speak about being low energy, not being in a good mood, always having an issue with staying alert during the day, I usually look at supplementing the vitamin D because that can always help. And by the way, this is a proven fact. Mostly in the Western world, a huge percentage of the population is deficient in vitamin D. All right. So it's better to already look into supplementing into those things. All right. Again, this is not needed, but it can give you those 5 to 10%. Because the truth is, guys, unless you are going to eat super, 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 super healthy every day, which you will not, because you have a life, because you want to enjoy from time to time, then you're always bound to lack of a few essential nutrients, such as vitamin D. The next one that you are going to need and that you definitely lack of, while it is a very important supplement, is omega-3 fish oil. All right, omega-3 fish oil is pretty much something that you get out of salmon and those kinds of things, but unless you're able to eat salmon or some sort of high quality fish every day, then your body definitely lacks of omega-3 fish oil, while omega-3 fish oil is one of those things that help you a lot with hormonal health, cognitive functions. Cognitive functions pretty much mean how well does your brain work, how fast does your brain work, and how well does it communicate and send signals throughout your body. So sometimes, when you say that you feel slow, then it's actually a real feeling. Sometimes your body does not have enough of that omega-3 to help send the signals from your brain all over your body to make you execute a certain action. That's what omega-3 does, all right? Super important. And again, it's a very essential one while your body does not get enough of it. This brings us to the third supplement and also the last one that I'm going to recommend, which is some form of magnesium, all right? Again, this is not the most crucial or essential one, but within my coaching practice and within the population of people that I work with people who are really high stress, very successful in their career, very successful in their personal life, very good financial situation, very good life situation. But of course, someone who has achieved so much for themselves has also had to give up a certain area of their health, of their energy, and of their well-being, and is under consistent stress, which sometimes they are not necessarily always able to balance out. All right. And sometimes we learn all kinds of hacks, but one of those ways that I like to really capitalize on the stress management and the stress relief is by telling them to supplement with some form of magnesium glycinate, to be more specific. Okay. Now, hack number 1, proteins. Hack number 2, breakfast. Hack number 3, stress management. Hack number 4, walking more, moving more. Hack number 5, supplements. And now hack number 6, guys, here comes workout and actually training. All right. Now, workout and training, contrary to popular belief, does not matter that much in terms of physical transformation, in terms of weight loss. All right. You could literally do all the workouts in the world, but if you don't consume your proteins, if you don't sleep well, if you don't drink water, if you don't do all the other daily things, you will not transform. However, you could just, without working out, you could just drink your water, eat your protein, move enough, sleep enough, take care of yourself, and you'll actually lose weight. Now, that's weight loss. That's the fact of going from this size right here to this size right here. But if you're serious about setting yourself up for better longevity, for also looks, aesthetics, then here comes the need for workout. So all of this to say that do not get pressured and do not get rushed in the idea that you necessarily need to go to the gym, because I know that once January 1st, 2026 hits, everybody will be at the gym. Everybody will be out there running on the treadmill, lifting some weights, burning themselves out. But what I would actually recommend you to do is when January 2026 hits, and by the way, don't even wait January 2026. That's the truth. And what I would urge you to do, what I usually do with my clients is I don't usually speak about workout for the first 1 to 2 months. That's usually how I work with my clients. Sometimes they ask me, like, hey, what workout are we doing? And I'm like, no, prove me that you can eat good proteins every day first. Prove me that you can put up a good plate, nice and healthy, with whole foods, veggies, carbs, fats, and all of that stuff. Show me that you can do that stuff first, because I could send you to the gym, but if your nutrition is trash and if you haven't learned enough basics and practiced and cultivated good skills in terms of nutrition, then we are just wasting our time at the gym. All right, the gym is going to make you feel good. It is going to give you that push, that boost of energy. It is going to set you in some form of balance. But again, if your weight loss and if looking good naked is your priority, then there's a ladder of things from what matters less to what matters the most that you can do. And the gym, honestly, guys, is down here while nutrition is up here. This is how I've been able to create results for my clients without sending them to the gym every day, simply because I work hard on the nutritional aspect, the top of the pyramid. And then underneath the nutritional aspect, we have sleep, we have hydration, we have all of the small stuff. The gym is really what I look at once they start to reap off the benefit of well-being from working on everything here. Okay, so again, kind of like dig down a rabbit hole here, but all that I want to tell you is do not get in that mindset of thinking that you necessarily need to go to the gym. But once you have covered the basics, then what I need you to do whenever it comes to going to the gym is to lift some weights, train to get strong, train to be able to do harder workouts each time, all right? Train with the purpose of becoming a more able, empowered version of yourself. Train with the purpose of also building some form of muscular tissue, muscular strength. Do that 3 times a week, and each times, all right, invest 30 to 45 minutes and train every muscle groups. Find one exercise for your legs, find one exercise for your chest, find one exercise for your back, find one exercise for your arms, find one exercise for your core. This is the best way to train and get maximum effect without needing to be in the gym every day. I'm not saying that training every day is not good, but training every day sometimes is already on that level of people who really have that level, that stamina, who are really well-rounded in terms of their recovery, their nutrition, and usually people who also have very good genetics, which just allows them to recover faster, and also people who have a lot of time, which is not your case. If we want to work out, if we want to work out to lose weight, if we want to work out to feel better, to look better, while we have a baby waiting for us at home in the evening, while we have early flights overseas to go meet and shake hands with some customers or suppliers tomorrow at 6 a.m., if you want to work out while you have tons of small commitments during the day that don't allow you to find the time, then full body workout whenever you get the chance is what will do you best. And by the way, as little as 1 workout per week will be enough for your body to start getting to a positive feedback loop. Now, is that enough? It is not. But if that's sustainable and if that's something that you can repeat every week, then that's what we want. I would prefer you to do 1 single workout, the most boring workout ever, every week, but to be able to repeat that workout every week, every month, and to sustain that for 1 whole year, instead of aiming to do a workout every day, going super hard every day, and that each week you start to do one less workout, and you disappear after 2 months. Because again, New Year's resolutioners will come, and that's exactly all that they will be doing. And that's not you, because you just took a look at this video, right guys? So that's pretty much all of my hack if you want to lose weight without feeling deprived and while navigating the highs and lows of your super overproductive lifestyle, right? If you would like to work with me one-on-one for your weight loss goals, I'm gonna also put a link in the description box. It's a link to book a free consultation call with me. During that call, I'm pretty much gonna ask you, what are your goals? Why are they important to you? And I'm gonna see if I can help. And then if I realize that I can help, I'm gonna show you a little bit of a customized strategy that I will have created based on all the information that you give me. And then after that, it's all up to you if you'd like to join or not. Okay, so if you'd like to talk further, and also if you'd like to work together, hit the link in the description box, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.